I'm out here near Franklin, North Carolina, in Nantahala National Forest. Gonna do a 22-mile loop called the Standing Indian Loop. I've done it once before, but it's been 6 years. This is a pretty spectacular loop as far as loops go in North Carolina. It's got a lot of nice vistas like Standing Indian and Albert Mountain Fire Tower. So you're gonna see some pretty cool sights here. I really like this loop. A lot of great campsites. I'm going counterclockwise, so that'll put me at Standing Indian on day one because I want to catch the sunrise at Albert Mountain Fire Tower if I'm able. There are a couple side trips I may do. Mooney Falls is one. We'll see how late it is by the time I get out that way. But I'd really like to see Pickens Nose. That's another side trip. I think that'll give me an extra couple miles to the trip. So we'll see how things play out. It's going to be a great trip. Great campsites, great views, good weather, so I'm looking forward to it. Walking through the campground here. Get back on the trail because you have to park outside the campground because they only have day use parking here if you're not spending the night in the campground. Otherwise, I think they charge you to park your car in the campground. It's hard to believe that the Nantahala River over here in the campground is a lot more calm compared to where it was where I hiked past it on the Bartram Trail 3 years ago. It was raging rapids there. Be great for tubing though and fishing. While I'm walking, I'm gonna have one of these complete cookies by Lenny and Larry's. They're pretty good. Got a lot of protein, 16 grams. So I'm gonna eat that while I walk. Well, I'm here to inform you folks, there's still some fall color out here in the mountains. So get out and see it while you can because it won't be here much longer. I mean, it's definitely past peak, but there's still some colorful foliage in places. Still beautiful, any time of year. All right, so doing this loop counterclockwise the way I'm going is definitely the easier direction of travel because your biggest climb will be initially once you leave the campground up the Kimsey Creek Trail, and that's only because you're climbing up to Standing Indian, which is over 5,000 feet. I don't remember the exact elevation, but it might be 5,500 feet or something. But to do the loop clockwise, I've only done it once, and that's the way I went. It was definitely a butt kicker, and I had been backpacking a lot that year. So my backpack weighs 26 pounds. It's a little heavier than usual. It's usually like around 24, 25 pounds. Now you see all this undergrowth here? Well, I was reading on AllTrails where it's really overgrown in the summer, and I can vouch for that because when I did the loop back in 2019, it was very overgrown. Like it was to the height of my face, and it was like I was having to push it out of the way, so I can definitely vouch for that. So this time of year, you see a lot of the vegetation is withering and dying. You might want to plan your hike accordingly if you're worried about ticks and stuff. Be more of a concern in the summertime because of that. All right, I made it up to the Appalachian Trail. That was a brutal climb. I'm gonna check out Standing Indian Mountain and take a break over there. And that is one of the best views in the southern Appalachian Mountains, ladies and gents. I'd really love to stay the night here, but I also want to do the whole loop, and if I stay the night here, I won't be able to do the whole loop as easy because I'll run out of time by the time I get done tomorrow because I got to be back to work on Tuesday. It sucks. Sitting here admiring the view, having lunch. Did something different this time. I got tired of having bars for lunch because I never have time to make anything when I'm just sitting down for a few minutes to take a break. So I brought this raisin cinnamon bread and put some peanut butter and hot honey on it. Brought 2 sandwiches. I'm burning a lot of calories. Something different with a lot of calories, so keep me going because I'm going to do another 10 plus miles to get to camp. Maybe come back and camp here to Standing Indian though, because this view is pretty remarkable. All right, I'm at Beach Gap, 7.2 miles in from the campground to this point, going counterclockwise. But I'm gonna let you know I'm gonna modify this hike. I'm gonna cut it short because I've done this section of the AT twice. I don't need to do it again for the record's sake. I've also documented on the channel. So I'm gonna use this trail right here. Forget the name of it, but I'm gonna go down here. I'll cut it short a couple miles. And that way, if I'm looking good for time, I'm gonna go and try and I'll pass Mooney Falls, which I wanted to see, and I didn't have enough time to see it if I would have gone the long way around. And I also want to see Pickens Nose. Otherwise, I'd have to wait to do Pickens Nose because I plan on going and doing the Smoky Mountain 500 motorcycle ride on my 390 Adventure. But it'll have to wait till next year because we're coming into the cold season where I don't like to ride that much. And the road will take you to the Pickens Nose trailhead. So I was planning on, doing the hike while doing the motorcycle ride. So this way I might have enough time to do it on this hike. The thing I neglected to mention is we just ended daylight savings time, so sunset is at 5:39, an hour earlier. I can hike in the dark. I've done it many of times, including on this section of the AT down around Franklin. Twice I did it in the dark back in 2019 and 2021, but kind of want to get to camp before dark. I'm not gonna lie. The reason why is because I want to be able to set up while there's still daylight. So we'll see how it goes though. Now I'm getting on the next segment of trail to reconnect with the AT. Albeit I'll be on the forest road at Mooney Gap and passing the waterfall, but that trail sucked. It was a lot of blowdowns. So if you want to do a loop out here, I'd stay on the AT. It's gonna probably only give you another mile or two extra, but it'd be worth it because the AT is well traveled and well maintained compared to these other trails. Anyway, now I'm gonna be following, looks like Blue Blaze and Orange Diamonds. Hard to believe that's the Nantahala River. Looks like a creek over here. Man, I'll bet you there's some good fishing there. And I wouldn't expect a bridge right here in the middle of nowhere, but it's pretty nice. Clouds have rolled in. Might be a chance of rain later tonight, albeit not a great chance, but there's still a chance. I'm walking Upper Nantahala Road now for a couple miles, and side path for Mooney Falls should be coming up. It's not a huge waterfall, but it looks pretty nice, so I want to check it out. So I've never done these connecting trails before, so thought I'd make it a little bit shorter, but it's not a lot shorter. I'll let you know when it's all said and done. But like I said, that first trail that I got on was too many blowdowns for my liking. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't fun. But that's some of the cons of getting off trail when you do some trails you're not familiar with. But anyway, road's easy walking so far, but I will be climbing because I descended below 4,000 feet, so I'm going to go above 4,000 feet again. All All right, let's check it out. It looks pretty impressive from up above here. It's only 2/10 of a mile one way. Reconnecting with the AT using Betty Creek Gap Trail, and I gotta find a campsite fast because I'm losing daylight. Probably gonna look for something as soon as I get on the AT. All right, back on the AT. It's almost sunset. I've been seeing some prospects for campsites, so I may choose one soon. Gonna find out. I found my spot for the night. I like it. There's a bear box down the way here, but I don't know if I'm going to use it because it is still a little walk. Anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to put my tent here, but then I saw that. Looks like somebody did their business there. Didn't bury it all. So I don't know if I want to be that close to that. So I might go back into the rhododendrons there. I don't know. I'm going to decide here, but I do like the fire pit. Somebody got the firewood ready, so I'm going to have a fire tonight. And I got plenty of water from a pipe spring back from the forest road. So I'm gonna set up camp. All right, now I got my caveman TV going so I can watch TV while I eat because I'm gonna make dinner. I decided to put the tent over there anyway instead of in the rhododendron area. I just turned it sideways like that and it was more comfortable. The rhododendron thicket was low clearance, so I think it'll be a good spot for me tonight. And gonna set up dinner over here by the log and watch the fire. All right, I'm having chicken and mashed potatoes. I may have had this before, I don't remember. And there's my campfire still roaring. All right, if I don't say anything more, folks, have a good night till tomorrow. You hear that? It's raining. It's not raining hard, but it's been off and on drizzling. So, got the rain fly on, and I guess it's going to be a cozy night listening to rain. Not my first time camping in the rain. Hopefully it won't come down hard. Alright, so I want to show you that some of the raindrops on my tent, on the rainfly, have iced over a little bit. And the coldest temperature I saw last night was 37 on my thermometer. But it seemed to be 39 when I got up at 5. So I'm going to take this tent down and get some breakfast. Because I put my food bag in the bear box, which is a couple 100 yards down the trail. All right, got the food bag, heading back to camp. Gonna have breakfast and get back on the trail. All right, about to have breakfast. I got the this GFB oatmeal from Whole Foods. Trying to get it so you can see it. There it goes. And I got my pre-workout. I'm gonna have to start bringing coffee if it's gonna be this cold because I need a hot drink. But I've been using my hand warmer for my hands because my hands get really cold. And I'm gonna keep my hands on the pot to warm them up a little bit. Anyway, I'm gonna do this, get back on the trail here shortly, hopefully before 6:30, because I want to catch the sunrise at Albert Mountain Fire Tower. All right, getting back on trail at 6:30, heading up to Albert Mountain Fire Tower, and then back to the campground. And you can see the dawn is on the horizon. Since we lost daylight savings time, the sunrise is earlier by an hour. But it sucks that it was the sun had set last night at 5:39, so it was dark by 6. All right, this is unreal. This is why you do early morning sunrise hikes, because you never know what kind of a sunrise you're going to get in the southern Appalachian Mountains. This is pretty amazing. I'm at a loss for words. I'm enjoying it. Gorgeous. All right, this is the final climb to crest Albert Mountain to get to the fire tower. AllTrails has you going on the road here. Why would you do that when you'd skip the fire tower, one of the highlights of the trip? So anyway, when I did this 6 years ago, I went southbound and I went down this. And when I did my section hike on the AT 4 years ago, I came down this. And I saw how steep it was coming down. This is what thru hikers experience northbound, going up this very steep trail. So, first time to do it, going northbound. Finally made it to Albert Mountain Fire Tower, and I have it to myself, so that's even better. So I'm going to climb it, even though I'm afraid of heights. This isn't the tallest tower I've climbed, but it's pretty tall. So I want to show you something before I do, though. I already had a view coming up, but the view is going to get even better as I climb the tower. It's just, I caught that view when the sun was just coming up on the horizon. So now the sun's been up because it's 8:09, so it won't be as dramatic, but it's still beautiful. Always got to share the sign. Give you a little bit of the history of the area. All right, let's make the ascent. Well, you can't go to the very top. That's just as well because I'm afraid of heights anyway, and it was making me nervous just climbing this, even though I've climbed it before 4 years ago. Get nervous every time. Usually when I have somebody with me, it's not as bad, but since I'm by myself, it makes me more nervous. So anyway, sorry folks if I can't get too close to the edge. Do what I can though. I'll give you a view. That is amazing. Here's my trail intersection, and it's going to take me back to the campground and to the car down the Long Branch Trail. So about 2 miles. All right, the successful completion of another great journey. Thanks for watching, ladies and gents. It's been fun.